Look from the book, presented by TopSport.
All right, well, let's catch up with Tristan Merlehan from our good friends at TopSport. Tristan, you've done an early morning airport trip to pick the family up. Bachelor life is over and, reality hits once again.
It does. Yeah, I did the early morning trip. I only walked in back through the door 5 or 10 minutes ago, so the kids are all excited to be home. It was a pretty light trip home because every one of their bags got lost on the way back, so it's still trying to locate the whereabouts of them. So yeah, the bachelor life is all done, but it was they had a great time. So,
but they got the duty free. They got the duty free through though, because that's not in the responsibility of the airlines. So they filled your liquor cabinet. That's what counts.
We've got the wine, which is all the important things.
Wine and darts for the next couple of weeks sounds good to me. Tris, before we get on to finding some winners and looking at some markets for the weekend, I saw a little tweet last night from your guys about the point of consumption tax. Now, the ACT government increased the POC tax to 20% yesterday. Wow. Which, let's go back a sec here, Turf. The Greens were only going a couple of weeks ago saying, let's not fund the racing industry at all. Yet they're happy to take the tax benefits from the industry.
The racing industry funds the government.
Yeah, let's not go. We're not going to go down these weeds again. But Tristan, I don't believe it. But I'm going to ask you anyway. Surely the ACT government communicated to you yesterday a significant move in their tax that's going to not only affect your business but the industry as a whole.
Yeah, I was sitting at home minding my own business. Just jumped on Twitter and I saw a tweet from a reporter there, and it was there was a letter to some bookmakers, and we certainly weren't included on that. So I don't know if you guys need to find a new sponsor or whatever, because maybe we're not big enough to be to warrant a message. But yeah, you'd think you'd at least get some sort of notice when the fee increases like that. And I'm hearing that it's going to be backdated, which I don't understand how that can work either. It's just ridiculous times, and I just don't understand how they think it's a positive for the industry. It's getting worse and worse, and ultimately it's the punter that's going to be the ones that it hurts the most.
Is that because you'll pass that on in its entirety?
Oh, absolutely. Like we have to. There's no alternative, Turfy. Like it's not like you can do anything else. And particularly just the way it's been hasn't been communicated is the frustrating thing. And I think we've already seen the impact of what's happened in Queensland. Some of the bigger operators are certainly actively trying to reduce turnover. We're actively trying to reduce turnover on a number of elements. And if bookmakers are out there trying to turn business away, how's that good for the industry, making the odds worse, the products lesser, and at the end of the day, the punters are going to be the ones that suffer. And how are we going to sustain all these prize money increases if turnover drops? So it's just madness at the moment.
I wondered about that, one of the other corporates putting that particular jurisdiction at the bottom of their race sheets. And I thought, well, if you're going to bet on the race, you're going to go looking for it and find it. So I don't know whether that was just
I'm told it has a real effect.
Yeah. The average punter. Yeah. And I suppose, before the kids are obviously excited to see you, and you've shut yourself in your office, and so when they want to play with you, Trish. So we understand what it's like there. But just quickly, I think the average punter, the point of consumption tax is a confusing issue for just your weekend punter who doesn't quite understand what's happening. But the fact is, while we might like to pop bookies every now and then, they really are hard done by here, and that's what I don't think punters understand, is that the bookies are the ones who are getting stitched, and therefore that's being passed on.
Yeah, exactly.
So therefore the punters are the ones that get stitched.
Can I just say, I don't agree with you for 1 second, to be honest.
Well, because the punter suffers eventually.
On to the punters. It doesn't have any effect on the corporates.
Yes, but the corporates can't absorb it by themselves, so it's going to be passed on by the punters.
So how does it affect them?
Well, I'll reword the statement.
It affects me and you.
But I don't think the average punters understand why it affects them.
Well, this is the bigger question.
And it's an important discussion, Turfy, and that's why ultimately the thing that needs to be communicated is that you and the low margin and other punters out there that are successful and do this professionally or do this seriously are going to be the ones most impacted by this. And it pains me that we have to drop our margin, and it's very sorry. We've got the kids back, as you can tell. They're very excited to be back from home, back from overseas. But it's a really important topic that I think just needs to be discussed, because there's wide-ranging ramifications, and I don't think the everyday punter actually understands how it works. On that tweet that I referred to last night, if you're a Queenslander now and you have a bet on the Melbourne Cup or from ACT. If that customer loses $100, $75 of that is paid away in in taxes and fees, and that's before payroll tax, that's before income tax, and that's before GST. So 75% of it's gone before you get to any of that other stuff. I don't know how that's sustainable. And then what about you throw a bonus bid in on top?
Let me ask you one other question, which I didn't believe I'd ever have to ask, but do you believe that punters, I'm not talking about people like myself and Matt and other guys that spend a bit of time over, but the average punter is price conscious?
I think they're price conscious in a sense that maybe, obviously, like yourself, you guys are very aware of that. But I think, and this is where it really impacts, and where I've got a massive concern over where the industry is heading, is the responsible gambling side of things, right? So at the moment, unless a customer's losing between 10 to 15%, they're not profitable. And how can you have customers that are losing less than that and not great for business? And that's the thing that needs to be reciprocated. So where you're saying, are they price sensitive? The reality is, by these changes that are going to be forced to be made, the punter that has $100 to spend over the course of a week or over the course of a given day, he's going to lose that money a lot quicker now by the changes that are going to be made on the back of these taxes. And what that's going to do is they might not be price sensitive. They might still bet into the market, but if they're not getting to the feature race day, if they're betting on Caulfield Cup Day and they can't get to the main race, and they've lost their bankroll by race 4 or race 5, where a couple of years earlier they were getting through the full day, they're not going to continue to bet on racing. They're going to bet on sport where they can watch the entirety of the match. And that's the thing where subconsciously that they will be aware of the price movement in that sense, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think this is a conversation that we could spend hours on, and perhaps the industry, there needs to be some sort of round table here, because I personally believe it's unsustainable. And I think you're the same.
I also want to add, the latest tab advertisements essentially talking about taxes, and they're attacking the industry as a whole, whether they like it or not. And let's be honest, the reason those ads are running is because of what can only be described as the poor performance of the tab across what is now a serious amount of time.
TAB had a monopoly for 35 odd years and actually still believe they've got one. I don't think they realise that.
So many times.
Anyway,
let's rate your customers. Anyway, we're going to find some winners.
We do need to move on. Now, the early plunge, where's it gone this week? We had a bit of extra time last week, recorded on Friday, but has there been a bit of a go for something somewhere that could maybe lead these battling punters into a winner, regardless of the price?
Yeah, it's an interesting one where the money's come. It's come for race 2, number 1, Manhattan Thunder. It looks a race in 2 between it and the bottom one, Boogie Dancer, in the race.
You unloaded, did you, Turf?
I thought maybe the money might come for the bottom weight, but no, the punters have really stepped into the top here. So it's going to be interesting to see where that finishes come race time, because at the moment there's a big gap between the runners, but whether that closes up or whether the late push comes to the bottom weight. But certainly early, Manhattan Thunder's been very, very well backed.
Lay of the day. The streak's over. Squid Game got the chocolates as an even money pop last week. Now that gave Paul additional reason to smile, because it was also his leg of the good 3 multi. We'll get to that shortly, but who are you opposing this week? Because once the damn wall breaks.
This is the thing, yeah. Paul, way too good last week. I actually thought, watching it live, I thought it got beat, but no, it was a good gutsy win. It looked in trouble from 100 out, but yeah, Paul 1, Tristan 0, and we'll see what happens.
No, Tristan about 100, Paul 1.
I've gone this week. I've gone race 4, number 3, Forest Diamond, 390. I just felt number 4, Shadowhawk, in the race should be a clear favourite, and the other 4 runners in the market up the top I thought were about even. So I was struggling to work out why it was such a close betting race between the two of them. So we'll see where that one ends up on race day. But yeah, as you say, when you get 1, you get 2 in cricket sometimes. So hopefully we can start a new streak.
Well, hopefully the streak continues into the multi, because there was a collect last week, albeit with a little bit of a leg up. The Pirate multi that you put together, where we only had to get 2 of the 3, that did get up. Turf did let the team down.
The horse, which was only had to run the place, was in front for a long way down the straight, and unfortunately,
all we're hearing is excuses. Turf, it didn't.
And unfortunately, didn't quite run the trip out. But anyway.
If only he was that kind when our legs fell down on the WhatsApp group. Yeah.
I never say a word. I never pot people's tips. I'll lead off today, and I'm going to stick my leg win on Manhattan Thunder.
Ooh, a win.
Yeah, so a win bet for the Turf, Paul. Where are you?
I found the meeting really hard, to be honest. A lot of time yesterday. I was looking at Pesquero, but I've landed on Snapped in race 7, number 3. really promising debut season. Jamie Carr on board for the Freemans. Currently 350 for the win.
Has jumped out very, very nicely as well.
Yeah, sorry.
And I know Matt loves jump outs.
I am conscious of the Moody Horse Chain of Lightning. Also very promising.
Size got ability as well. It's a good little race, the last.
I'm going to race 5. I mentioned before, I think in the set weights penalties format, no effort. He's absolutely thrown in as a 100 rater, but as Turf mentioned, she does need to see out the 2400. I'm going to take it that she will, and that she wins this. So no effort, race 5.
So that's 3 win bets.
Yep.
Jeez. So take Matt out of the picture and we got 3 win selections.
Take Matt out of the picture, we've got some testosterone in the betting.
Almost guaranteed that those 3 horses are going to run second. This might be really good. Should have a backup place multi.
Yeah, well, because we did get the pirate multi up last week, so there was 400 odd that went into the kick for that. So this multi works out at $30.45. And what I might do, because
we've shown some stones
with all these taxes that are going through the floor, I'm going to throw another multi on for a place multi. So we've got a second one there, which will give us a double chance.
Good man.
Tristan.
No.
Cannot lose.
Oh, don't.
Statistics would suggest otherwise.
They certainly would.
Tristan, we'll let you go and spend time with your family. You haven't seen them for a few weeks now, so enjoy the family time, and we'll chat to you next week.
Speak next week, guys.
A Good 3 with Dr Turf, Matt Welsh and Paul Tatnell.